So, let's read this here. Why can't I scroll? Wait, well, we're on the right screen. Derp, derp. There we go. Okay. So, Bungie weekly update. I'll zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So this week at Bungie, we moved a little closer to the next update for Destiny. If you study the paths we've traveled to evolve your playground, a numeric pattern emerges. 111 is what we call the next batch of content and code. That places it somewhere between the last expansion and the next expansion. As promised last week, when we forecast some much anticipated heavy ammo fixes, it's scheduled to make its way from our servers to your console before the end of February. Between now and then, we're hard at work making sure that these changes won't wreak cataclysmic havoc on the game, like changing your Guardians into Tower Sweeper bots, or worse. That gives us some time to talk about what else you'll be downloading. The conversation continues today. Prepare your favorite snack and have a seat. We'd like to talk to you about our arsenal of weapons. Alright, in sheep's clothing. Not so fast, you say. What about the next expansion you mentioned? Well, fair enough. Since we've started throwing around soft deadlines for game updates, we might as well set your expectations that Destiny 2 expansion, House of Wolves, will be released sometime in the next quarter of this year. If you're not used to people saying things like Q2 when they're measuring time, just rip your annual calendar into 4 equal parts and scrutinize the second piece. Sometime within those 3 months, which is April, May, and June, we'll have a new adventure to embark upon you. We're keeping all of the details under wraps for now. There's a special team here dedicated to creating some new ways for you to play Destiny. They're also making the game they're also making the game a better reflection of what we've learned about you since you started playing. While they do their thing, we'll walk the fine line between making you a part of the process and providing them with a safe place to explore possibilities and do their best work. The Bungie blog is your finest source of guaranteed Destiny news. What we're talking about, planning for this fall. Keep that thing oiled. Can we talk about those weapons now? Because we have a problem. Your pulse rifle really needs some love. Please say the pulse rifle is getting buffs. Alright, let's see. Watch where you point that thing. Percentage of total kills by category by top players. Auto rifles, scout rifles, pulse rifles, hand cannons. That's in the wild. In the Crucible, all auto rifles, scout rifles, pulse rifles, hand cannons. So clearly pulse rifles are underwhelming. That's what they're saying. Statistics don't lie. Neither do you. Just yesterday, to enlist you in helping us prove this point in advance, we poked the internet bare. We asked the general question, what's your favorite pulse rifle in Destiny? The general consensus started rolling in. Don't use them. None of them are good. Is that a trick question? Thanks for playing along, Mega. That was a trick question. That was a trick question. I like that. The answer and the solution lies in the sandbox update that we're also packing into 1.1.1. Today, we're serving up some weapon tuning philosophy prepared by sandbox designer John Wyszynski. He's a weapon specialist at Bungie, one member of a team that seeks to find balance in the chaos. Your guns are on his workbench, and he's excited to share with you some of the thoughts of his process. Click this link to learn more about how we're keeping our promise to make it prior to launch. Destiny would be a place to do it. Okay. If you like pulse rifles, help is on the way. If you're like me, and you think you can solve every problem with your trusty Cerberus regime, well, we're about to challenge you. We're about to be challenged in some new, exciting ways. Hot! What is this link? Okay, what's this? Cerberus Guardian. Alright, is that about it? I think that's about it. That's all of importance. Okay. And, Rip Montium. Thank you very much. Okay, let's check out what this is here. Destiny weapon tuning. Hey Guardians, what are you about to read is a heads up about some upcoming changes to weapons of Destiny scheduled to go live February with update 1.1.1. This is the result of listening to feedback from the community, observations of players in the wild, poring over user research data, and regular internal playtesting. Also, I'm going to read chat for a second here. Alright guys, let's keep reading this. So many of these changes are subtle. It may take a little while to feel the nuanced differences, or you may feel the changes immediately. It all depends on how you play. This is an opportunity to change up your combat strategies in new ways, and or double down in the areas to still feel good to you. So, auto rifles. It's our goal for the auto rifles to be visceral, close to medium range chainsaw. It should reward target tracking and drop in effectiveness at longer ranges. Looking at raw DPS, or raw damage per second, the auto rifle is the most lethal primary class in all of Destiny's activities. Here's a breakdown of kills by primary archetype for the top players, filtered to focus on the top half of the scoreboard. So, the top half of the scoreboard of every PvP match, in Control, dominated by auto rifles, a little bit of scout rifles, even less of pulse rifles, and hand cannons are about 7%. In story mode, it goes from 18%, auto rifles 16%, scout rifles, pulse rifles again being very low down, and then hand cannons being about 13%. That's not just for the Suros. If you look at the top 10 lethal weapons over a period of 30 days, 6 of them are auto rifles. Note the spike in Suros starting on 1-3, likely due to the Iron Banner auto rifle bounty. The ratio stays relatively consistent for non-Suros autos. There we go. So we can see Suros Regime. This is every single day. These are all individual days, all the columns. So we can see that 12.4. So Suros Regime, Mythoclast, Regime, Mythoclast, Regime, Mythoclast. So all throughout. And then we can see these percentages increase as the Iron Banner goes on right here. Because there's an auto rifle bounty where you have to get 100 headshots or whatever it is. 50 headshots, 10 headshots, whatever it is. So there you go. You can clearly see an increase there. And then it kind of decreases and tapers off and becomes a little bit more even. But clearly the top 3 weapons are the Suros Regime, Vex Mythoclast, and Thorn. Then we have the last word up for anything, 8 Downs Epilogue, the Sidonian AR-3, which is probably all the the lower level players, the Shingani, Galahadi, Stranger's Rifle. Those are all based on all the Christmas noobs, essentially. But okay, let's go back here. Oh, sorry, I'm on this wrong page. I can't see right now. Can I just go back? Oh, wait. Why am I here? Back. Sweet, okay. So, it's extremely effective in most combat... I can read this now. It's extremely effective in most combat scenarios and engagement distances. In fact, it is so effective that its intended role from the primary family is being partially obscured. We want you to be able to deliver a steady stream of precision damage with an auto rifle. And you still can, but you need to get a little bit closer. So they're basically... Okay, so the goals are the auto rifle is optimal at close to medium range. Damage, stability, and range are tuned such that players desire stability for reliable close quarter damage or range for better accuracy at distance. So the changes to auto rifles are going to happen in February with this next big patch. You're going to reduce the base damage of auto rifles by 2.5%, and this is averaged across the rate of fire status. The higher rate of fire took less of a reduction than lower rate of fire. So higher rate of fire weapons will take less of a hit, and lower rate of fire weapons are taking a little bit more of a hit because they do a little bit more damage. They're going to reduce the effective range values so that the damage fall-off and accuracy are a stronger factor in combat decisions. So you won't be able to snipe across the map with your Suros, is basically what they're saying. And range reduction is less severe in the higher stat values, so now your range stat is more critical to long distance engagements. Sweet. So what that means is that if you're in PvP and you have a Suros regime, unless you have a range promoting, like Hammer Forge or something like that, a range boosting stat or perk, you're going to be way less effective at range. I like that. That's great. So, the Pulse Rifle. The Pulse Rifle is the spiritual middle ground between full auto and semi-auto weapons, delivering lethal burst at a forced pace. The right combat rhythm rewards both target tracking and precision shooting. So again, the same stats, we see that the Pulse Rifle in both PvP and in story mode is the lowest out of the 4 primary types. And yeah, so the goal is the Pulse Rifle is optimal at a medium range. It can still effectively harass enemies at close or long range distances. So the rate of fire sets a pace for both players to track moving targets and then deliver precision damage. So, whoa, they're increasing the base damage of Pulse Rifles by 9.7%. The damage per second is now more in line with other primaries. Holy shit, the bad juju is going to wreck face. Praetor's timepiece, wreck face. I love that. I love that. Let's check chat for a second here. Real leaked. That's bullshit. Sorry, Metagaming. It's bullshit, dude. There is no leaks. you literally cannot predict. You cannot predict Jur because it's random. And there's no one at Bungie that knows what that is except like a few hours before it goes live. So it's all bullshit. Alright, hand cannons. Hand cannons are intended to be the ideal weapon for precision-minded players on the move. Our goal is that they are ideal at close to medium range. They reward the calm hand that can place shots under chaotic combat situations. The rounds that hit like a truck, so you shouldn't need to fire fast to be effective. Right now, the hand cannons worked as advertised, but they're a little too effective at longer ranges. We're finding that players got very comfortable hanging back and using hand cannons like a scout rifle or a sniper rifle. With these new changes, you can still hit targets at long range, but the shots need to be paced out and the damage will be lower until you close in on your target. So, the goals. The hand cannon is optimal at a medium range. Hand cannon is optimal when shots are paced and they become less effective when they're fired quickly. and this rewards agility when under fire, precision targeting, and snapshots. So the changes to hand cannons are, they're going to reduce the effective range. Who is this? Who is this sexy beast? I can't see. No, I can't see it. Wait. Mytho Gaming, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to the Noob Crew. I know I timed you out, but it's just because we don't want to put anything in chat that's not realistic. Okay. So, reduce the effective range. Damage fall-off starts closer to the shooter, and follow-up shots are less accurate. So that's good. It's going to have a little bit more of a kick on sequential shots. And there's going to be a slight reduction to initial accuracy. This is going to be unnoticeable at close to medium range, but underscores the range intentions from use far away. So basically, when you aim down your pistol, it's going to have a little bit more sway at longer distances, and up close it's not going to be noticeable. That's fair. They're taking away the ability for hand cannons to be acting like snipers or scout rifles, which I do see how they are, because if you go into PvP, you whip out a Thorn, you can literally snipe people across the map. If you whip out a Last Word, you can literally three-shot people, and it's insane. So I'm glad that they are reducing the effective range and not the damage of the hand cannons, because I think the damage-wise they're fine. I just think that the range was a little too much, and I think this is a good change. Fusion rifles. Alright, so that was all the primaries, right? I don't know if they addressed scout rifles. They may be untouching the scout rifles. Let's see. Quick shotguns, scout rifles. Okay, so a little bit of change down there. Let's keep reading. I know this is long, guys, but this is really interesting to me, and I think you guys can benefit from it too. So let's keep reading. Fusion rifles. Fusion rifles are one of the most contentious weapons in PvP arena right now. They've been largely untouched since Destiny launched, and has been great to watch the community slowly adopt these weapons and understand how to use them effectively. Currently, they are the most hotly unliked weapon to be killed by. On the other end of the feedback spectrum, they are supremely satisfying guns to kill with. We're basically saying that people who use them love to use them, the people who get killed by them hate to get killed by them. That's what they're saying. So, it's pretty easy to find and build a fusion rifle that can push the range limits and land one-hit kills and or massive damage from pretty far away. Furthermore, in the Crucible, it is not difficult to depend on a steady stream of special ammo, so that players rarely have to pick and choose the right time to use this weapon. Our changes address these issues and leave the overall feel and function of fusion rifles intact. Oh, this is going to be good. So the goals, let's read the goals here. Goals. Fusion rifles are optimal at mid-range, where the targets are easier to track, but they're not close enough to attack while you charge up. This requires combat foresight and the ability to predict a target's movement to use successfully. Of course, if someone's strafing from left to right or right to left, you need to be able to charge your fusion rifle so that you can accurately hit them as your charge is maxed. So, changes. The blast pattern on a fusion rifle burst cone is a little bit wider, so it's going to be a little bit more, whatever. So close to medium range volleys are going to be pretty much ineffective, but at a distance, the projectiles are less likely to land hits on a single target. This reduces the reliability of landing a one-hit kill at a far range, and makes the weapon better at spreading damage into a group. So that's pretty nice. So if you have like 2 or 3 guardians, a little ways away in the Crucible, you can charge up a fusion rifle and do a little bit of dispersed damage to all of them. I think that's awesome. The initial starting ammo is reduced across all ammo stats. This is a change. This change primarily. Sorry, that's supposed to say this change primarily affects the Crucible. So when you start a Crucible match, you'll have less fusion rifle ammo in reserve, and in PvE activities, we persistently track your ammo. We only use the initial ammo values if you're logging in for the first time or starting a Crucible match. So basically what they're saying there is that in Crucible, your fusion rifle ammo, you start off with less. I'm going to guess you start off with no reserve ammo, and you just start off with whatever, 5, 6, 8, whatever it is. And then in PvE, you're pretty much going to be untouched. That's what they're saying. So, shotguns. Shotguns are the close quarter kings. These are the weapons you need to eliminate anything that is directly in your face. The role of a shotgun has been well established in the shooter genre for a very long time. For Destiny, we have some interesting data from the field. A very high amount of players use shotguns in PvP, and almost no one uses them in PvE. If we look at PvP versus PvP, if we look at Crucible and then Story Mode, in the Crucible, 15% of players are using the shotguns, and that's just second to the auto rifles. And in the story mode, that 15 goes down to 1. So what they're going to try to do, I'm going to guess, is buff the shotguns. In PvE activities, the reward of a close quarter shotgun attack on any non-grunt enemy doesn't give you enough of a damage spike to warrant use of this weapon. Like the fusion rifles, in the Crucible, it's not difficult to find a shotgun that is very lethal at some unexpected ranges. Some of the higher range values have been pulled in to help eliminate long-distance Guardian one-shots. We have also seen that the Crucible ammo economy allows for players to use shotguns with wild abandonment, or abandon. So, like the fusion rifles, we've made a reduction to initial starting ammo with the shotguns. Yes, that's good. That's very, very good. So the goals with the shotgun is that it's most optimal at very close range. It complements a melee attack and other close quarter class builds. Offensively closing in on an enemy with a shotgun is a risk-reward timing game, of course. If you approach an enemy and you miss your shotgun, you are going to be in a whole lot of trouble. If you approach them properly and you hit them, they're going to be dead. Holy shit. Whoa. Increased damage by 2. So a 100% damage increase against all non-Guardian combatants. Holy shit. So, okay. Reduces the high-end range values, so the damage fall off starts sooner. So Crucible players with long-range shotguns need to be a little bit closer for successful one-hit kills. So that 2 to the morgue is going to be a little bit closer now. And like the fusion rifles, initial starting ammo is reduced across all stats in the Crucible. Same thing as the fusion rifle. You start off with less in the Crucible, and in PvE you pretty much are untouched. Alright, so scout rifles, sniper rifles, heavy machine guns, and rocket launchers. For the most part, these weapons have not changed as part of the update. However, changes to the Destiny arsenal mean that untouched weapons may now seem different in side-by-side comparisons. You may discover new reasons to start using one of these weapons as part of your combat strategy. Why did you nerf my favorite weapon? Why not make the other ones better and leave mine alone? Good question. Here's why. We pay close attention to kill times in all game modes against all combatant types. If we brought up all the weapons to account for lethality spikes that occur in specific situations, then our time to kill would get faster with every patch. It is important for us to keep time to kill values such that your arsenal feels lethal, but also both allows for some drama while you fight and create opportunities for counterplays when you're being attacked. One of the great things about working on this game is how players continually change our understanding of how the game plays. We have an evolving tennis match of serves and returns. As always, we'll be watching and listening. Keep the feedback coming. Craigasm. That is a fantastic patch. Holy smokes. I know that was really long, guys. I thank you guys for bearing with me, but wow, that was amazing. That is a huge weapon change patch, and I think that's going to be very, very, very important for both Crucible and PvE. That is